everyone. Welcome to the Live Wire. My name is Kirsten Kire, and I'm in the Belk College of Business. And today I have two guests with me, and we're going to speak about executive education at UNC Charlotte. So first I have Dr. Jaime Bochantin, who is actually an assistant professor of communications and organizational science at UNC Charlotte. And we also have Karen Ward, who is the assistant director for executive education at UNC Charlotte. Thank you both for being here today.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Great. Well, let's start with a little bit more of background about UNC Charlotte's executive education. And tell me a little bit about why you think it's positioned here and why that makes a good choice and value for people. Maybe each of you can answer.
Try.
I'll let you start.
Two things come to mind that are frequently referred to when we talk about executive education with UNC Charlotte. One is the research component of the university, and secondly would be the location. And you kind of say, well, why does research matter? And a lot of that is that we have the depth and breadth of faculty here, and a majority of time that is spent on research, and that research is able to be brought forward and provided in some form and fashion to the benefit of the businesses in the community. So it's a real asset to us to have the faculty and the research and the location.
I think to piggyback off of what Karen had said, I agree with the location, hands down. And we are situated in such a unique part of the country where you have access to so many different kinds of organizations and organizational members. I think that's what's really great about it from a faculty perspective. Usually when you're appointed as a faculty member, you're in remote, rural parts of the country, not a whole lot of access to opportunities like this where you can work with huge corporations. And we are just situated so nicely from a geographical standpoint. That makes it a real pleasure, I think, for faculty members to participate in the executive education program, definitely.
And to add one more point to that, the executive education department, we're housed in Center City, so we are right in the midst of the business community here in Charlotte, and for accessibility and being able to understand what's being discussed and what's going on in the business community.
Well, continuing that point, Karen, if you could tell us a little bit about the focus areas of UNC Charlotte's particular executive education areas, and maybe describe a little bit about who it's for as well. So those topic areas and who it's for.
Well, it's almost difficult to say we do just this because the university offers so many various topics that may be of interest to organizations for different business challenges, but some that are commonly requested are innovation, leadership, and leadership can mean a lot of things, as you'll hear Jaime talk about here in a little bit. Entrepreneurship, and of course business analytics is really a trending topic with a lot of businesses here in the community and the region nationally. And you say, who do we target for executive education? It would be business leaders. Typically you're going to be developing high potential employees to senior leaders to executive leaders in an organization would be who we would generally target for our programs.
So let's talk a little bit about your program that's coming up, Dr. Bochantin. So the program that is coming up is September 23rd and 24th. We actually have it online here. So it's called Leveraging Your Leadership, Maximizing Human Capital to Drive Results. Tell us about this. What are you planning to cover, and why is it important for leaders to really develop their skills in leadership?
So as I was developing this program, I really wanted to cater it to a wide variety of audiences. And so it's meant for really either current and next generation employees, managers, leaders, as well as any high potential employees, as well at all organizational levels. What I will say is that this program is going to be really interactive, so participants can expect a lot of interaction, and I can talk about that in just a few minutes. And so there will be a variety of learning exercises, including simulations, role play, self-assessments, case studies, lots of work involved with other people. And so it can be, I would definitely expect it to be very interactive exercise and experience. And I'm really hoping that it will help the participants to bring back to their organizations ways to improve business results through increasing collaboration, motivation, and efficiency with employees, with colleagues, with partners, with associates, and also with other external stakeholders, customers, clients, so they can better their interactions with those individuals. So that's what they can expect from this program.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And you want to talk a little bit more, you said, about the format and the benefits that people can receive from that?
Yeah, definitely. The format's going to be, again, very interactive. They can definitely expect that. It's split into a 2-day session. As you know, based on what you can see on the web there, it's a 2-day workshop. And so there are 3 modules per day. And out of those 3 modules, every module is going to include some sort of interactive activity, whether it's role-playing, a simulation. There will definitely be self-assessments throughout, and then also the opportunity just to engage with leadership content and talk about it with other people in the group, talk about it with me, and then we'll make sure that they have takeaways that they can then use as they take it back to their organization. So it's definitely set up that way to be as interactive and to be, I think, for the participants to be as engaged as possible with the content.
That's great. And Karen, would you add anything about this particular program? I know we're going to talk about others coming up, but would you add anything about this one?
Well, I think, one, we really are blessed to have someone like Jaime, Dr. Bochantin, facilitate this. She brings a lot of energy and commitment to the topic, as you can hear in her description, really able to get participants engaged and interacting with one another and sharing ideas as much with her. And really she taps into a lot of what we seek to deliver through executive education, that experiential learning, that active learning. And she again referenced, taking things back to her organization so they leave with something they can do differently tomorrow. So we expect it to be an outstanding program.
I hope it's outstanding. Thank you for saying that. Did you want to know more specifics about the topic areas and the content that they can expect to cover?
Absolutely, please.
No,
feel free.
Feel
free.
And they can get all this information online. But like I said, it's a 2-day workshop. We're going to cover topics in relation to behavioral styles and conflict management, dealing with difficult people, team building, performance management, and leadership styles, of course, is key there. And so I think when participants take this seminar, if they choose to take this seminar, and I hope that they do, they will definitely gain a lot of experience from a leadership perspective. But again, I really wanted to tailor it so that it's not just those high upper level echelons of an organization, but really anybody who is really interested in becoming a leader eventually in the organizations in which they work. And any organization, when they face certain challenges, things that plague organizations, common issues that plague organizations are things like, how do we improve our customer service? How do we grapple with organizational change? What do we do when we want to enhance our corporate culture? All of these things are really tantamount to why it's so important to have an effective leader. And that leader doesn't have to be the boss. It doesn't have to be the supervisor. Sometimes it is, but it can really be anybody and anyone who is willing to lead. Part of being a good leader is knowing how to bring about change and how to inspire the masses. And so that's why I continue to say it doesn't have to be these upper levels. I think a lot of the participants will be at that level, that executive level, but I think those mid-level managers are equally important as well because they're the future of our organizations and they'll be able to disseminate these messages and be able to motivate the masses, so to speak. So that's a really important part of the program, I think, is to really cater it to a variety of different audiences.
Well, and to your point, the executives that do come, I think it's that continual building of skills,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, it's never ending to
Never-ending.
the amount of learning you could have in leadership.
I've seen it time and time again. Leaders who have decades of experience still sometimes fall victim to that mindset of business as usual or having a tunnel vision approach to their management style, thinking everything that's worked for us in the past will, of course, continue to work for us in the future. And that's not always really true, right? We definitely need to develop our skills, continually develop our skills, our leadership skills, evolve as human beings as well as organizational leaders. We've seen mega corporations just collapse, like Blockbuster and Sam Goody and Tower Records and even Radio Shack because of that tunnel visioned perspective. And these were organizations that were led by leaders and managers who had decades of experience. And so I think those executives who are taking this workshop as well will gain a lot just by continuing to develop your skills. You can never know too much about leadership. It's never done, for sure.
And just to add a little bit about your credentials, so you have led training workshops and guest lectures at institutions including Harvard University School of Business and School of Government, as well as others that I'm not even mentioning. So this is a really fantastic opportunity. And to remind people, if you go to exec-ed.uncc you can actually access all of the upcoming fall events. And I think this is a great way that people can actually register just directly online. So I think, is there anything else you'd like to add about your particular program? And we're going to talk about some of the other fall programs, but anything else about the leadership session?
Again, going back to the idea that it's going to be very interactive, I think that's key. One thing that I've learned in teaching college students, which is a large part of my job, I've been teaching college for over 11 years, is that students and I find my training participants to want to feel engaged with the material. And there are lots of ways to feel engaged and to feel like you're having an interactive experience, and that can be done through group exercises and case studies and all of those things. But another thing that I've learned, and this is what's kind of unique to, I think, the way I facilitate programs, is that technology is vital. And I've learned that just by being constantly surrounded by our fantastic, lovely millennial generation of students who are technology dependent, for sure, to say the least. And so I've learned that technology in the classroom is vital, but technology is also vital in a training environment. And so for this particular session, and I think future sessions that I'll offer through Executive Ed will definitely include a whole lot of technology. I plan on using some sort of e-learning management platform where we can house and store and manage course content so they can continue to access, the participants can continue to access content even after the training session. There will be an opportunity where we can blog and have a discussion board. I will also be using an online polling software where, when prompted, participants can use their smartphones or other devices to respond anonymously to different polls throughout. And that's, again, just to make it interactive. Throughout the 2 days, they'll definitely expect to experience a lot of that. And it projects it onto a screen so everyone can kind of see what everyone else has reported in terms of the poll. And then lastly, I know that my current generation of college students love YouTube. So we use a lot of YouTube videos in training workshops. At least I do. I think it helps to foster and solidify some of those deeper concepts, and I think it demonstrates how you can take away some of these perspectives and then bring it back to your organization in order to maximize your human and social capital, i.e. your human resources. So that's what they can expect.
So while it's 2 days, it really sounds like it's something
ongoing.
That's ongoing,
For sure,
and that could last quite a while.
Absolutely.
For someone to have that benefit and to return to it, honestly.
Exactly. Yep.
So
That's
that's
my
really
goal.
helpful. So I guess, Karen, looking at some of the other programs as well, what are some of the benefits overall that you see as you've had many programs so far in executive education? What are some of the benefits that leaders and executives are experiencing and can experience?
Well, Jaime touched on several that we would highlight, and one is the active learning, that it's not sitting and listening to somebody talking to them for whether it's a day or 2 days. They're there to get engaged. So it's facilitated, not necessarily taught. So they'll learn some concepts, they'll apply those concepts, and so they've got that opportunity to hear something and maybe see how it might be put into action while they're in the workshop. So then when they go back, they've developed either a skill or the tool or an idea, even a new way of thinking that they can use when they go back, because it was active, not passive learning. So that's a really important differentiator for being in an executive education program, and some of that's because adult learning, adults, we're not used to sitting for 8 hours a day, and so to be there and be engaged is really important for them to take away some new ideas and take them back to the workplace. The other one that we hear a lot that we would mention is they not only hear from an expert like Jaime, but they hear from each other. So a lot of the results, feedback we get from participants highlights the fact that, gosh, I learned as much from the people sitting next to me as I did from the person in the front of the room. So it's a kind of a 360 learning opportunity, both from the facilitator learns from the participants, and they learn from each other. So some really key components and takeaways that they can expect from an executive education
Probably
program.
networking as well with other
Networking, absolutely.
with peers and executives and other
Sure.
businesses. So.
Absolutely.
That's part of why I'm trying to get an e-learning management platform so that they can stay connected with each other. When you said networking, that's exactly my intention and reason for keeping that online, so they constantly have access once the course is over in case they wanted to reach out to their fellow
maintain those
training
contacts
workshop
as they
members.
all
Yeah,
go
key.
back and and work through applying what they've heard in their time in the workshop.
I can't tell you how many times that's happened in the past when I've done workshops where I'll get feedback 6 months later saying, oh, it's so great that you had all this online. I was able to connect with people because there was something I learned in your workshop and I applied it at work. And I actually went back and talked to one of the participants as well, and we brainstormed ideas for how I can do this. And I thought that was remarkable. That was really fulfilling and I think rewarding from a trainer's perspective to hear that stuff matters.
It's probably not often that you have as an executive or as a senior manager that safe spot or safe space where you can sort of share those ideas openly and
test out ideas
test
and proposals.
out different things with different companies on top of that. So great. Now, Karen, tell us a little bit too about how this is really different for what UNC Charlotte's doing, executive education, how it's connecting us in new ways to the business community. What is the benefit for executive education for UNC Charlotte?
Sure, it's a two-way communication opportunity for UNC Charlotte. Being a large university, research university, a lot of probably individuals in Center City aren't even aware of what the university has in terms of resources and knowledge and activities and what's going on. So not only is it a way for we hear from faculty that they get that opportunity to connect with businesses. We want to be interacting with the business community and validating ideas and validating research, so they get a lot out of it. But in addition to that, a lot of the businesses here in the region and probably nationally are very comfortable with the value they get from the university in terms of traditional recruiting for undergrads and graduate programs. And what executive education provides is a whole new way to take advantage of what's there available at the university, and that's tapping into this expertise to develop their existing employees, their high potential and executive staff, as we've talked about, and being able to develop them in many ways in soft skills like leadership, or again, we've mentioned innovation, and ideas around innovation is brought up quite a bit. So it allows them not only to kind of full circle with the university, the undergrads, additional education, and then ultimately when they're needing to further develop the capabilities and move into future thinking and new ways of thinking, they can come back and tap into that again for their senior leadership. So it's a real exciting opportunity both for the faculty in terms of having that access, and for the business community being able to access the skills and knowledge of the university.
And I'm supposing you're kind of hoping for the same benefits of that connection with the business community that many of our faculty members do really have that strong connection already, but it builds it further.
Well, and to your point, they bring in, and Jaime did mention the fact that not only the organizations that you mentioned, she also travels globally. So she brings not only a U.S. perspective, she brings an international perspective. And a lot of the faculty that get involved with executive education are recognized publishers and speakers and consultants as well. So not only do we highlight the fact that they've got a huge amount of research expertise that's both forward-thinking and leading edge in terms of content, they bring all of that other experience and examples, real-life examples, that they can bring to their audience and share that expertise. So it's
excellent.
A lot of opportunity.
Just to build off of what Karen had said, it's also mutually beneficial as a faculty member, as a teacher, as an instructor. I bring a lot of, I always learn something new when I conduct a training workshop. Wherever that training workshop is, it doesn't matter how many times I've conducted that training workshop. It doesn't matter how close it is to my heart. I always learn something new when I interact with and talk to employees and sometimes really high level executives from organizations. I always learn something new, and I'm able to bring back that experience to the classroom when I teach students, especially students in communication or students that are interested in business or organizational science. A lot of those experiences that I have when I'm training, I can then translate to the classroom situation or scenario or environment where I can give them real world examples of things that they might encounter. A lot of our communication majors, a lot of our organizational science majors want to do consulting and training and development someday. And so this provides them with some context. I can give them some insight into things that we do when we carry on these training sessions, and I talk about things that I've learned that I've never known before. Because like I said, I'm always open to learning, and I always learn something new in every training workship that I do, hands
That's a really
down.
good point of that back and forth learning that's
Definitely
going
reciprocal,
on.
for sure, yeah.
Right. Well,
Definitely.
it sounds like a really exciting program.
It is.
Let's talk about some of the other ones that are coming up as well this fall, because you have quite a few.
Well, the one that we would mention today that we have in October is we're also doing managing cybersecurity risks, protecting your company's assets, and that's one we're doing on October 15th at the Center City.
See if we can navigate there, at least to show people what the website looks like. So several of them are listed here.
Yep, as you can see, we've got Jaime's program in September, just in a few weeks. And then the digital marketing and analytics, maximizing your digital presence. And that program is geared towards helping business leaders look at combine the different sources of digital information that probably most of us are overwhelmed by, and understanding how to leverage that information for business decisions. And the one on cybersecurity is intended for the business leader, talking about best practices and key issues in cybersecurity. And the intent is really to elevate their understanding of the discussion of the risks so that they can take that thinking and those ideas back and make the decisions that are best for their organizations. And a hot topic today around cybersecurity that we're all impacted by personally. So those are two that we have this fall, and we're certainly currently working on a lot of programs for the spring as well. Topics will be some more leadership topics, as well likely some in analytics and innovation right now. So we should have that up probably in October. So welcome anybody to take a look at that in about another month and see what we have in the spring as well.
Well, and these areas too are really highlighting some of UNC Charlotte's really deep strengths as well. It sounds like leadership and digital marketing analytics, cybersecurity. There is a cybersecurity conference that I believe occurs
on the 14th, the day before. There's a conference that's happening here on campus, and there's what I would highlight or add on to what you're saying is that what these programs reflect is that we can draw upon the resources across the university for programs. So at times it may be from the communications, it might be from the College of Computing and Informatics, it might, we also have the Data Science Initiative going on with a lot of expertise from that organization. We have, of course, the Belk College of Business faculty that, are a huge resource for us in all these topics and overlap quite a bit sometimes when you start talking about analytics and whatnot. So what I'd really say is what that reflects is the breadth of resources that we have that we can draw upon for programs.
And that's a perfect, I think, segue into there's not only open enrollment, but there's other sorts of programs that you're developing regularly. And can you talk a little bit about the custom side of what you do?
Sure, and actually the custom side is a lot of fun for us, because it's when you get the opportunity. And when we do the open programs, you're going to have participants from a lot of different businesses and could be from surrounding Charlotte. When we have the opportunity to do a custom program, we get to engage with a customer on a specific business challenge, specific to them, help them define what that is and define the outcomes that they'd like to see. We then get to find the resources throughout the university that would best support them in addressing that business challenge, and then we work collaboratively to build the program. And those programs might be 2 or 3 days, or we've done programs that have been 6 to 9 months in terms of working with clients on developing high potential employees, might be for succession planning, in terms of leadership development, possibly in analytics, talking about insights generation with clients in terms of how can they better use information and data to make business decisions, strategic thinking. I could go on for plenty of time, but it's really exciting and it's very rewarding for us when we get that opportunity to get engaged, partner with them, really understand that business challenge and help them see something through and the impact that they get to enjoy on their business on the back end. So that we welcome really almost any topic around that, because we've mentioned some here and there's some on our website, but I keep saying this, but there's a lot of resources here, and if we haven't mentioned something specific, we likely have the access to a resource that can come forth and probably work with them on a business challenge.
And sometimes I would imagine that the open enrollment is a good kind of entree into learning more about and more about UNC Charlotte, more about executive education, and might lead to a custom program if someone is interested.
Absolutely, and some organizations want to come and just get an idea, and maybe they haven't partnered with us before, and they kind of want to see what this is all about and what does UNC Charlotte have to offer in executive education. We welcome them in any of our open programs, and sometimes that may lead to a further project if something resonates and seems like it would be of impact to their business. Absolutely.
Well, is there anything that I haven't asked that you would like to touch upon? Because this is all very good information.
You know, what I just said would be what I'd probably leave people with. Well, one, you know, please visit our website and take a look, and most importantly, to emphasize the fact that, you know, UNC Charlotte is recognized here and part of the community. We are embedded in the community. We are in the heart of uptown Charlotte. And if there's not something that they see specifically that they think they need or anybody might be interested in, we'd love to hear from them, whether it's that they'd like to provide ideas on future open programs or even just want to know, is it something we can help them with? We welcome the opportunity to have the conversation and hope that they would think to give us a call or certainly reach out to us from the website.
Excellent. Anything you'd like to add?
Sign up for my session on September 23rd and 24th. Everyone's welcome.
You already have a good audience. I know you could take a few more, but
yeah, I would
it's
love
filling
a few
up
more.
quickly, so that's
I'm
wonderful.
Great response.
Very excited about that.
Well,
yes, you won't be disappointed.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've talked through the resources and we've talked through the website. So we have, just for one final time, we have exec-ed dot uncc.edu is the website where you can find the contact information right there and get in touch with, there's Karen Ward, Curtis Tompkins, there's several staff that are ready to talk with people. And I think at that, if there's nothing else to add, I'd just like to thank you both for your time today. We're looking forward to seeing all that Exec Ed has to offer.
Thank you.
Thanks.
It's been fun.
Thanks. And thank you everyone for tuning in to this edition of The Live Wire. Have a great day.